Climate change is a threat multiplier. It is like a string connected to some of the most significant challenges humanity faces. When you pull it or when it's stressed, everything else is impacted. It sustains us, it nurtures us, but it is not a one-way street. We cannot expect to keep taking without giving back. I encourage you to take part on June 17th. Let's work together to build a sustainable and more resilient future for all of humanity.
Dear friends, I'm honored to join you again on this year's Desertification and Drought Day as your goodwill ambassador to the convention. I'm going to talk about the linkages between land use and growth in production. But most importantly, I'm going to talk about how we, you and I, can make a difference. This year's focus is on changing public attitudes towards the leading drivers of desertification, namely overproduction and overconsumption. This year also marks the start of 10 years countdown to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals. And we are in a hurry. The theme Food, Feed, Fiber touches upon several of the SDGs. Overconsumption and unsustainable production of food and clothing have negative effects on climate and biodiversity, but also on food security. COVID-19 pandemic will likely further exacerbate this. This is also another important matter, land use by the fashion industry. This is not a small part of the equation. In 10 years' time, when we should be achieving the Sustainable Development Goals, the fashion industry will likely use 35% more land than now. This is over 115 million hectares, more and equals to the size of the Nordic countries or Colombia combined. The impacts of fashion industry to climate is also significant. It produces 10% of all carbon emissions. That is more emissions than all international flights and maritime shipping together. All of this is interlinked. The health and productivity of existing arable land is declining, and this is worsening by climate change. All at the same time, the emissions from the fashion industry and unsustainable food production aggravate climate change. But the good news is you can make a difference in your everyday life. When it comes to clothing, there are many simple things we can do to save natural resources. We can recycle clothes and avoid fast fashion. There are also possibilities for groundbreaking innovations such as production of sustainable fibers and waste fiber technologies. Our sustainable choices as consumers can send a powerful signal to businesses and policymakers. My trust and hope, especially in the youth, but we all, at all ages, we can make a difference together.
Hi, it's an honor to be part of your day. I am Lotta Kopra and I represent a company called Spinlove. I'm in Finland and it's now after sunset. So, hello people. In the UN 2020 initiative discussing the linkages between consumption and land. It's an important topic. We share your values. We can produce textile fiber with a process so clean that we use no dissolving or harmful chemicals. This makes a great difference in the CO2 emissions, So we, as an example, we use 65% or we produce 65% less CO2 emissions than, for example, a cotton fiber production does. Also, what's big is at the land use efficiency. So our feedstock is wood. So we only need 10% of the land that, for example, cotton farming does. And that, with the help of deforestation benefit, makes a great difference. So, amazing to be part of your day. My time is up. You can learn more from spinlove.com. Have a great day.
Imagine how many people there are on Earth. 7.6 billion of us, living, eating food, and buying a lot of clothes. When I'm grown up, there will be almost 10 billion people on Earth. My dad says we will need a lot of farmland for feeding all those people, instead of farming fibre for clothes like cotton. Mum says there are man-made fibres, but those factories are quite polluting. And in those fibres, there's plastic that might end up inside fishes that we eat. Sounds like a problem for the future to me.
It is. As we approach 2020, we find ourselves in a situation where the global population's demand for cellulose-based textile fibres, mainly cotton, can no longer be fulfilled with the current production capacity. Also, cotton farming needs a lot of water, land, and pesticides. What we need is energy and water-efficient, non-toxic textile fibres to fight challenges like climate change and marine resource contamination, problems made worse by the production and consumption of mainly oil-based synthetic fibres. So how do we sustainably clothe the growing global population? Sometimes it can be hard to see the forest for the trees. However, what has been even harder until now is seeing and utilizing the trees for their fibers. Fibers that can be used to provide sustainable textiles for the growing global population. Spinnova's patented spinning technology takes microfibrillated cellulose from sustainable wood as raw material and spins it into a fiber ready to be used in virtually any type of textile. The closed process includes zero harmful chemicals, causes zero waste, and its only side product is water, which can be used in the spinning process. This innovation directly addresses 5 of the United Nations' 17 sustainability goals for 2030. With zero waste and minimal environmental footprint, our production process is at the forefront of sustainable industrialization. Spun out of FSC-certified wood pulp and fully recyclable, the Spinova fiber promotes sustainable consumption and production for future generations. Cellulose-based textiles help fight climate change by mitigating the global textile industry's impact on global warming. In addition to climate change, synthetic fibers cause stress on the world's sea life population. Our fully organic fiber helps mitigate the ocean microplastics problem and conserve marine wildlife. To promote sustainable forest management and combat desertification, land degradation and loss of biodiversity caused by unsustainable forest management, Spinova fiber is only made of cellulose that comes from FSC-certified wood. Big challenges call for big innovations. Spinova.
Live Cashmere is currently working with about 300 nomadic families to produce sustainable cashmere and prevent desertification. We calculate pasture capacity, number of goats that each grassland can healthily afford in one season. Then, through pasture management, we secure enough time for grassland to regrow.
Dear all, the World Day reminds us of the imperative of combating desertification as a part of our efforts to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals. Desertification, land degradation and droughts are major threats affecting millions of people worldwide. COVID-19 has reminded us how much we depend on nature for our health, our food, our livelihood. Renewable energy is not only the most effective climate action tool available today. Renewable energy is also a solution to restore land and combat desertification and land degradation. Renewables can provide energy solutions for resilient water and agri-food sectors and alleviate poverty through integrated rural community development projects. Africa, and particularly the Sahel, are for sure a priority. I wish to commend my friend Ibrahim and his team for their incredible work. We are strengthening our collaborative efforts through actions such as the Climate Investment Platform, with the aim of accelerating the deployment of renewables, building a future of health, wealth and opportunity for millions of people in the most vulnerable countries around the world. We will tirelessly continue working together.